Hey guys, today I wanted to do a video on managing and organizing your paper flow. I feel like this is such a huge struggle for so many teachers, and to be honest, it has taken me 4 years to finally find a system that works for me. Now, I have gone through probably about 8 to 10 different types of systems out there. And I know I say this all the time, but it is so important to try to find something that works for you. Picking and choosing between some of those different things and some of the various different systems that are out there on Pinterest and on blogs and just in books, anything that you can find, it is so important to pick the little pieces that work for you and kind of develop a plan that is perfect. So today I wanted to share with you how I manage my paper flow in my classroom and how I try to stay on top of everything that's coming in, whether it be lesson plans, materials for your lesson plans, things that are coming in from administration, anything and everything you can think of. I have kind of a system that is keeping me organized and keeping that paper mountain that so many teachers may have on their desks tamed and under control. So my very first tip that I have for you is to make a plan. And I know that many of you have heard me talk about him, and David Allen is the author of a fantastic book called Getting Things Done. And in his book called Getting Things Done, he talks about having a brain dump. And a brain dump is mainly just to get everything out of your head and onto paper. He wants you to be able to clear your mind. And I feel like I've had this issue so many times where, you have 3 million things that are going on in your head and you go to sleep at night and you're still thinking about all those things and you're like, man, I need to do this and I need to do this. For some reason, I'm having a connection to a movie, and if any of you know what movie it is, let me know. But there was a movie that I watched, and it was a mom who was literally laying down in bed and she was doing her mental to-do list. In her brain, and she was kind of thinking of all the things that she needed to get done. Well, instead of having that inside your brain, and so you're constantly keeping your brain working, and you're going to end up forgetting some of those things. David Allen wants you to put all of those things on paper so that you can dump it all out. So this is kind of along those lines, my dump it out system. And here's what it looks like. It's nothing fancy. I literally took my teacher planner and just one day sat down and I just kind of dumped out all of the different tasks that I have to complete on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, and then on a daily basis. So here was my thinking. I sat down and said, okay, well, what are some of the things that I know I have to get done on a monthly basis? Now, this is not personal. This is strictly just for school. So I know that when I walk in the mornings, I can open it up to this page, or when I have free time, I can open it up to this page and get some of those other tasks that just need to get done, and I can get it done on time. So when I was sitting down thinking about my monthly tasks, here are some of the things that came to my mind. One of the first things that came to my mind was my time card. I absolutely know that I have to do my time card every single month. It never fails. So I make sure that I have a time and a date set down for me to be able to complete my time card. The next thing that I have down is my faculty calendar. So my school sends out a monthly faculty calendar with all the important dates for that month. So I have to make sure that I sit down and I log all of that information into my actual personal calendar. And I have another calendar that sits at my small group table that's just a quick and easy reference for me. The next thing that I know that I have to do on a monthly basis are my data binders. So I need to make sure that I'm making time and separating that time out for my data binders to get completed. The last is to create my monthly maps. Towards the very end of the month, I sit down and think about what are the standards that I need to be teaching for this next month. When am I going to be teaching those? What themes am I going to be teaching? And how is everything going to start connecting? So I sit down and just quickly just kind of sketch out my standards and my themes so that when I am doing my lesson plans and pulling things, I can easily reference back to that, and it makes it go so much quicker. So that was my monthly. Now let's look at my weekly. Here are some of the things that I knew that I needed to get done on a weekly basis. One of the first things that came to my mind were my lesson plans. This is something that has to be done every single week. So I wrote that down. Another thing that I know that I have to finish every week are my newsletters, my parent emails. I also have green folders, which are my progress monitoring folders, and those go home every Friday as well. I have to also make sure that my email inbox is cleared out. I like to designate 2 days to be able to clean out my email inbox. How many of you have had that problem where all of a sudden you get an email and saying, your email box is too full, your inbox is too full, you can no longer send out messages or something to that extent. It drives me nuts. So I made sure that I sat down and I thought of a day that I could get those things finished, and I didn't have to worry about it. Another thing that I know I have to finish on a weekly basis is just my copies. Making sure that all my materials are copied for the following week. Making sure that everything's cut out. Making sure that my literacy centers are ready. Making sure my math centers are ready to go. It's just those weekly tasks that you just have to do on a regular basis. The last thing that I had to sit down and dump out was things that I do on a daily basis. And I like to divvy these up between AM and PM. Some of the things that I know that I need to have done every afternoon, and the things that I have to have done every morning. So once I had my monthly, my weekly, and my daily, I was able to break it down even further. Here's what that looks like. What I did is I took every day of the week and I tried to think, okay, how can I not overload my day? Because, a lot of those times what would happen was that I would sit down and I would say, okay, I need to have lesson plans done. I need to pull this. I need to do this. I was overloading myself, which was then stressing me out, and I wouldn't be able to get it all done within the time frame that I had. So I had to sit down and think, okay, I have this set time on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Let's break up all the different tasks that I have to get completed, and let's put these into different days so that it's easier for me to be able to get those tasks done quickly. So here's the next tip that I have for you. Create a schedule. Y'all, think of it like this. You have a schedule for your class, right? And it works smoothly. You know when you're going to lunch, you know when you're going to do math, when you're going to do reading, when you're going to do writing. Everything is mapped out for you. Why not sit down and do a schedule for your personal life? I know that I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. I have my alarm set for 4:45. Let's all be honest, that does not happen. So I wake up by 5 o'clock every single day. By 6 o'clock, I am ready to go. Hopefully my coffee is ready so that I'm feeling good about that. And by 6 o'clock, I'm waking up my kids and getting them ready for school. By 6:30, I'm leaving the house. By 6:50, 6:55, I'm making it to school. That just kind of depends on traffic and how long it takes me to get him into the daycare, my younger son. So I know that I have that set time. I also know that I have set planning periods. Well, if I have certain planning periods, I know that maybe on, Monday afternoons is typically my PLCs or PLP meetings or my faculty meetings. So I typically leave that schedule open. And if I don't have a meeting that afternoon, fantastic. I don't have to stress out about it. I have free time to be able to get some extra work in. I also know that I have, different planning times during the middle of the day. So it may be at 12:45 is typically my PE time. And I know that during that time, I'm going to be opening up my planner and doing some of those daily tasks that I need to get done. That's usually a really good time for me to be able to do that. During the morning time, because I have everything set up and ready to go, I come in and I don't have to stress out about it. Again, that's time for me to get in lesson plans. That's time for me to do grading. So making a schedule for yourself and knowing when you're doing things, it's going to make you flow easier. I also know that I don't leave the school until 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, I'm done. I'm closing up shop for the day. So by 4 o'clock, I have all this time. I have 1 hour to get everything completed, whether it be my lesson plans, whether it be pulling things, conferences, anything and everything you can think of. But I know at 4 o'clock, that's it. I'm leaving. I'm going home. Because hopefully by 5:30, I'm making dinner, getting everybody fed, and then I'm cleaning up, and then I put my kids to bed, and so on and so forth. I have everything down to a schedule. So think of it in that form. Your kids need a schedule at school. why not make a schedule for yourself, for your house, for your home, for your personal life, and for your work life, so that you have a routine? You're wanting to create a habit out of everything. Anything that you're doing, think of it as trying to create it as a habit so that you don't have to think about it anymore and it just becomes second nature for you. So that all of a sudden at that time, you know, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And you're not having to force yourself to do it anymore. So here's tip number 3. So tip 3 is to get a system in place. Now, I talked to you guys a little bit about systems. I've tried everything. I've tried the buckets. I've tried drawer systems. I've tried folders. I've tried hanging file folders. I've tried the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I've tried the reading, math, and writing. I've tried it all and nothing ever seemed to work perfect for me. I didn't like the idea of being able to sort all my materials and putting it just was too much for me. So after reading David Allen's book, I brought in the inbox. And I got this really nice kind of drawer file system from IKEA, and it is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I initially bought this for my writing center, and then I transitioned that and moved it and was like, you know what, I'm going to use this for myself because it's really that awesome. So here's my system, and here's how my system works. So anytime I get any kind of paper in, I put it into my inbox. And what my inbox is just things that it's holding my place. It's holding the place for everything that gets into my hands. Now, I have different sections for my inbox. I have just your plain inbox, anything that requires attention or I just don't have time to look at and I need to stick it in there and I know I'm going to address it towards the end of the day. If I know it's something that I have to copy or if I have to laminate or cut, it goes into that section. If it's something I know I have to file, again, it goes into that section. If it's something that I know that I'm waiting on, because I had some things that were waiting on something else to happen or someone else to do something, it has a section. And I also have a section for anything that requires some type of attention, something that I need to get to immediately and it's something that just can't wait. So if I have a chance to be able to look through it, I'll put it in its designated spot. If I don't have a chance, it goes to the very bottom, which is my generic inbox. I love this system because it keeps every paper off of my desk. It gives it a home until I'm able to handle that and deal with it later on and put it in its appropriate place. So finding a system that works for you is perfect. This one I absolutely love. It has become something that really keeps me on track. Another thing that I've talked about quite a bit is something called a 43 folder system. Now, I don't know if David Allen was the exact person who created this, but I think it kind of stemmed from his ideas. And so here's what the 43 folder system means. So you have 12 folders, one standing for each month of the year. So you have 12 months in a year, so you'll have 12 folders. Each of those is labeled with 1 month. Then you have a total of 31 folders that are all labeled 1 all the way to the number 31. 31 being the most days that you can have within a month. So it's all in order. And let's say, we're in the month of March right now. Well, I would have March 1st, that file folder that says March 1st. Then I would have the folders, the number folders behind it. Now, if there's not 31 days, you just move that folder to the next month and you don't worry about it. So as I'm getting my papers copied and as I'm getting all the materials ready for the following weeks that I have coming up, I put it in its designated day that it's going to be taught. So if I know that it's going to be taught on the 15th, then I'm going to put all of those materials inside of the 15th folder. If I don't know what day I want to teach it, but let's say, oh man, I found some really cool stuff for April that has to do with frogs and butterflies and, Earth Week and things that I'm going to be teaching in April, but I don't exactly know when I'm going to teach it because I don't have those lesson plans ready. No worries. You stick it in that month folder. So when that month comes, you pull that month out, you have all your materials right there that you were already thinking about, but you just didn't have time to look at it. And then that way, once you're ready to start planning, then you can move it into its designated day. I absolutely love this system. And another reason why I love it is because everything has a place. Everything has a home, and I'm not having to sit there and sort through the Monday folders. Oh, well, that's for the next week. Or no, that's for 2 weeks out. Or, oh man, I was supposed to teach that last week and I didn't see it. Because you're keeping all of these piles of paper in one folder. It didn't make sense to me. And it just wasn't the best thing for me. So now I know at the end of the day, well, tomorrow is the 17th. I pull out my 17 folder, I stick it on my desk, everything's ready to go for the next day, and I don't have to stress out about it. Y'all, this is phenomenal. Business people are using it. Why shouldn't we be using it? We need to stay organized. I feel like teachers have such, so many things that are coming at them from so many different directions that, if business people are using these type of models, then we should definitely try to incorporate it into our systems as well. If it's working for them, then hopefully it'll work for us, right? So definitely check out the 43 folder system if you haven't already. Okay, so the next tip that I have for you guys is to clean off your desk. Whether it be a teacher table that you sit at like I do, or if you have an actual desk, make sure it is all cleared off and you have no papers or anything that's sitting on top of it. I know that for me, whenever I'm doing anything, it could be at home, it could be at school, but if there is the slightest hint of just chaos and mess, I can't focus on things correctly. I can't feel like I'm getting my mind relaxed and I'm able to start the day fresh. So for me, making sure that my desk is completely cleared off, I can walk into my classroom and feel like, yep, I'm ready to do this. I'm good. I can handle anything that comes at me today. And then if you have those days where you come in and you just have a bunch of stuff on your table, you're like, oh, bless, I completely forgot about this. It creates a more stressful environment for you, and it just kind of starts the day off a little rough. So you want to make sure that you're leaving your space cleared off. I take the last about 5 or 10 minutes and I tell my entire class, hey guys, we are in this together. We are all in this classroom together. So we are all going to clean this classroom up together. And I don't really do jobs. I just kind of have my kids work together as a team to get everything done. They know that the bowls and everything needs to get put up. Things need to get picked up off the floor. Name tags need to be straight because they know they have an OCD teacher. So just little things like that and making sure everything is kind of looks presentable and it looks ready to go. It makes you feel better when you walk into your classroom. So make it a point that at the end of the day, you are taking those last few minutes to clean off your desk. And I know this sounds so crazy, but I had to choose in the very end, do I go outside of my classroom and do I stand in the hallway with teachers talking for about 30 to 40 minutes? Or do I spend 5 minutes and really focus in on the things that is on my desk and in my room and make sure that I have everything set and ready to go? So you have to also learn to prioritize, which one do you think is more important? What is going to make you a better teacher in the end? Sitting out there chit-chatting about what you're doing or, what happened that day or, just like random things that teachers can talk about, because I know we all talk about all kinds of random things, or at least I do. Or is it more important for you to get your stuff ready to go so that you're not stressed out? The focus here is so that you're not stressed out, you're ready to go, and you're feeling good about the day ahead of you. So it creates a little bit more of a positive environment as well. So making sure that you're taking that time and prioritizing to clean off your desk and get everything ready and prepared for the next day is really important. The next tip that I have for you guys is to leave every day as if you have a sub. I know you're probably cussing me out right now at the screen saying, you're insane, I'm not doing that. But I'm not thinking of the terms of, a real sub. Leave the day as if something really bad happened and you just need to have all your materials together. Think about what is it that you're going to need. And I don't typically do the whole day because, sometimes things happen. You end up changing lessons. You just never know. I try to make it at least to where everything is set for me to go until my very first break, so that I know that if I just make it to my first break, I'm going to be okay. And then I can go make that copy, or I can go do whatever it is that I need to do to make sure that everything else is ready to go for the rest of the afternoon or day. So I try to think of, okay, so what is the first things that I have? I know that I have morning work that it needs to get done. I know I have my morning message, and then I know I have writing. So I need to make sure that all three of those are ready and set for the morning. So in case something does happen, or something, anything, or I get in late, or I mean, the other day I didn't wake up until 6:15. I'm supposed to leave the house at 6:30. It was crazy, y'all. It was an insane day for me. But like in case those kind of days happen, I can make it to school and then I'm not stressed out and I'm like, okay, everything's fine. I have everything set to go for at least the morning part of it, and I don't have to worry about anything else. So leave every day with your beginning or whatever until your first break, so that you're not stressed out in the mornings, that you can come in and you can relax. You can drink your coffee, you can drink your tea, or whatever it is that you like to have in the mornings, and you can take your time. For me, the days where I am able to just come in and just kind of go at a very slow pace are my best days. Those are the days where I feel like I'm on top of everything because I'm not stressed out. I don't feel like I'm trying to, let out like 5 or 6 different fires all at once. So that is incredibly important. So think about that too. Think about, am I leaving everything ready to go for the next day until my first break? If you are, chances are you're going to have a more successful day. Okay, so I know that this is another topic that a lot of teachers, maybe struggle with. But the next thing is grading. So remember back when I told you that you needed to create almost a schedule for yourself. Create a time for you to get that grading done. If you know that you have to have these grades done on Friday, make a time on Wednesday to get it done. Say that I'm going to set aside this, break period, or this, 15 to 20 minutes in the afternoon to get my grading accomplished and have it finished. Set yourself goals and reach those goals. Do not let yourself not complete those goals. Make it a point to reach them. So those grading papers that you have to get done, if you know that it takes you a really long time, break it up. Maybe on Tuesdays you're getting some of it done, and then you can finish the rest of it on Wednesday so you don't feel so overwhelmed. I know for me that I am so squirrel, I'm all over the place. I can't focus on one task at a time. I'm really good at multitasking. I'm really good at having, 5 or 6 different things going on. I could be, taking classes, also teaching, also doing YouTube, also doing blogging, and that's okay for me. It works for me because I know that I can spend 20, 30 minutes over here. I can spend another 30 minutes to 40 minutes on one area, and that way I don't feel like I'm bored and I can move on and do different tasks. It works better for my personality. Now, there are some teachers out there that don't do that they can't handle that. They have to have one task, they have to complete that task. So think about your personality. Are you that teacher that has to have everything done at one time and then not stress about it? Or are you more like me where, you have to have multiple different tasks and you have to break them up so that you feel more successful at it? So that you're not just saying, oh my goodness, when am I getting done? I was so that kid in school that when we were reading chapter books, I remember counting the pages, saying, oh, how many more pages do I have to do? Because we were having to read them within such long periods of time, and it didn't work for me. I needed things to be broken up, and I still do, even as an adult. So having different tasks and having everything broken up is really beneficial for my personality. My final tip is to stay committed. This is when you are wanting to create that habit. I told you guys that you're wanting to create a habit in yourself to where it's just second nature to you, that you know that you just need to get it done. So this is that time that is so critical, and it's like exercising or dieting. You have to stick to it in order for it to become a habit. You have to make sure that you're setting yourself goals, and it may not be that you're trying to do all of these things at once. Maybe you're starting with 1 or 2 of the tips that I've given you in this video, and then you're trying to implement those before you move on to the next step. Don't try to overload yourself when it comes to organizing. Start small and then work yourself up. Another thing is that you want to make sure that you're not giving yourself that area of, oh man, I'm just tired. I'm just ready to go home. I had a stressful day. Well, I'm telling you right now, if you don't do some of the things that I tell you, if you don't leave yourself ready to go for tomorrow, if you don't clean off your desk, you're going to be even more stressed out the next day when you come into your classroom. Make it a priority and stay committed. Even though you're tired, go grab yourself a Diet Coke. Go get yourself a Snickers. I love peanut butter cups. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Go get yourself a Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Anything that makes your heart happy, get it and get motivated for the next 20 minutes so that when you come in the next day, you are refreshed, you are ready to go, and you're not stressed out. It is so important during these times to stay committed and really stick to it. Keep doing it. I promise it will get easier. It was really hard for me in the very beginning, but as much as I wanted to try to make excuses for myself and say, well, I gotta go get my son, and oh, I miss Blaine, or I'm just so tired, I'm frustrated and it was a bad day. Don't let that happen. Okay? I'm telling you, don't let it happen. Push through it, stick to it. I feel like I'm an exercise coach, but stick through it. And I promise you it will get easier, and it's going to get to that point where it's just habit. You're going to get yourself into a routine that works for you and a flow that works for you, and you're going to feel so much better about it. And every day you're going to come in and say, I'm ready to go and I can do this. You're going to end up being one of those teachers that can leave on time. You can come in and you're not that person that's running around like a chicken with their head cut off. You're that person that looks cool, calm, collected, and they have everything put together. And your administrators are going to say, man, that teacher has it. They understand what they're doing, they know what they're doing, and they feel confident in what they're doing. So guys, I really hope that all of these tips are beneficial for you. I hope you got some great ideas from these tips and that it's something that you can easily implement into your classroom. If you have any questions, please make sure you leave them down below. I'm trying to get better and I'm trying to set aside that planning time, just like I told you in that schedule, for answering your comments. So I'm trying to set that aside a time, and I'm in the process of making it into a habit. So I will be answering your comments more regularly now, and I do appreciate them all. I love all the positive feedback. You guys keep me going. You keep me motivated into doing these videos for you. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. If you enjoyed this video and you like the content, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys really soon. Bye!